Today we're using everyday items from Dollar Tree, such as poster board, this Christmas tree, a wood sign, and even a shiami to create some Pottery Barn hacks on a budget. Hello and welcome. My name is Shannon from TheDailyDIYer.com. If you're new, please subscribe, and I'm sure you're right off the bat asking, what in the world are you going to do with poster board? We're going to recreate these bells that retail for $14.50 at Pottery Barn, but we're going to make ours for far less using poster board. So I'm using a cutting mat and a razor blade to cut down strips of this poster board. You can also use scissors and just draw a straight line to get your strips if you don't have a cutting mat. These are 2-inch strips that we're just going to fold and twist and bend into a cone shape, just twisting it onto itself and then using some hot glue to secure the end down. Then just hold your cone shape in place until your glue has cooled off and set, and then we can start cutting off all the excess pieces of poster board. So we're going to cut the bottom off straight. That's going to give us the bottom of our bell, and then cut off the triangle tail that we glued down, and then we have a nice cone shape. You can also take your scissors and go around the bottom just to make sure you have a nice clean edge. And then here's just kind of a sped up version of the instructions here to give you a look at it. Again, the more you do of these, the quicker you definitely get. These go pretty quickly. So here's just 2 of those smaller bells using 2-inch tall strips. You can get a variation of sizes. These are 4-inch, 3-inch, and 2-inch size strips, just making different sized bells. Now we're going to come in with our scissors and trim a tiny bit of the top of the point of these cones off to make a hole. And then we're going to use some smaller gold cording that you can find from the craft store. Sometimes you can find this at Dollar Tree as well. Definitely grab it at 50% off if you grab it from Hobby Lobby though. That's going to give you the best price. We're just going to cut a long piece of this cording and then tie a knot in the bottom of it and then pull that knot up into the middle of our bell to give us the hanging effect of each one of these bells. Repeat that process until you've added cord to all of your bells. I also want to make sure to mention that you want varying heights in the cording so that we get a sort of tiered effect once we put this all together. Now start laying your bells out. I would suggest doing the bigger ones first, the medium size second, and then filling in the little spaces with the smallest ones. Then we're going to grab all of the tails of our cording, gather them together, take some wire, and start wiring these all together. If you made yours long enough, you can even tie these into a knot, but mine weren't quite long enough. So just a little bit of wire tied them up together for me, and then we're going to take a larger, thicker cord to start adding the handle to this bundle. So we're going to make a little loop at the top and then cut that cording down to size, use some hot glue to attach it and cover up the wire that we use to wire these together, and then take that same larger cording, wrap it around the center there, cut off any of the excess smaller cord that was sticking out of the top, and then use that hot glue to continue wrapping until you have the smaller cording covered up. So here's a look at the inspiration bells that were $14.50 retail at Pottery Barn, but we were able to make ours for $3.50, a 75% savings. And honestly, I still have some poster board left, so I could even make a larger one of these or several of them if I wanted to add them to even more of my home decor. A great savings and a fun DIY. I really wanted one of these berry wreaths from Pottery Barn, but at $39.50, I knew I could make this so much cheaper using a wreath from Dollar Tree and also their berry stems. I only used about 5 of these stems and cut them apart and used some hot glue to attach them around the front of this wreath. And the key here is to make sure your outside ring of your wreath and those berries really have a similar look as you go around to give you that nice pretty fanning effect once you get all the way around the wreath. So there's kind of 3 steps here. You want to add some to the middle of the wreath, some to the inside circle of the wreath, and then really focus on the fanning effect of adding those berries to the outside of the wreath too. So this is looking really, really nice. And you can also flip this upside down and any of the extra little pieces that are popping out the back. It definitely helps to add some more hot glue to make sure you secure those stems into the wreath even more. Now we're going to flip this back to the right side, and the Pottery Barn wreaths actually had fairy lights in them too. You can find those at Dollar Tree, or these are my new favorite ones. You can find them at Amazon, and I will link them down in the description box below for you. They come with a much smaller battery pack. It uses like a watch battery versus the 2 AA batteries the Dollar Tree ones use, so it's much more discreet, lots lighter, so you can kind of discreetly hide the battery pack in your wreath. So these retailed for $39.50 at Pottery Barn, and our DIY wreath only cost $7.50 with those fairy lights in there included as well. It really turned out beautiful, and I'm so excited to have this as part of our new bedroom decor. Let me know down in the comments below, do you decorate your bedroom for Christmas time? This is a first for us, and I am loving it. Isn't this snowman topper from Pottery Barn cute? But at $59, I knew I could make it cheaper for our bedroom Christmas tree topper, so I grabbed one of these Christmas trees from Dollar Tree, along with one of their white car chamois. And you're also gonna need some of this extra fluffy white ribbon or yarn that you can find at Hobby Lobby. It was 30% off, so only $5.59 for the bundle. Actually had some extra too, so you'll have some extra left over for other projects as well. We're going to take that Christmas tree cage and cut off all the fluffy garland from it, but keep it. You never know, it might come in handy for another project down the road. And then we're going to start working with our car chamois. So we're going to open this up. We're going to fold it in half lengthwise and fold it in half again. What do they say? Like a hot dog here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to size it and scale it around the cage of our tree. So just wrap it around and then take your scissors and cut it down to size. We are going to have some excess. Keep that. We're going to use that here shortly too. This bottom piece, we are going to just roll it up like a hot dog, and then we're going to put it over that bottom circle on our Christmas tree. Wrap it around, not too tightly. We still kind of want it fluffy. Take some string and then tie it up, and that'll secure it onto the tree. And if you can guess, this is going to be the belly of our snowman. Now it's time to grab out our yarn. We're going to take a bunch of this and start wrapping it around our Christmas tree. It definitely helps to secure it onto the bottom of our Christmas tree. Just tie a knot or two, and that'll hold it in place as we start the wrapping process. You also want to keep a hot glue gun close as we start piling this on and twisting it around. It definitely helps to come in with some hot glue and add a little bit here and there to keep your yarn in place and from unraveling. So go ahead and keep wrapping this around the bottom of the tree and also around that chamois that we have in the middle there, and then also a little bit on top of the chamois until we get to the middle of the tree, and that's going to make the bottom snowball of our snowman. So here's a good look at what it is looking like so far. We are going to keep wrapping that yarn around the center there. That's going to be the middle, the crease or the connection part between the top snowball and the bottom snowball. We do want the top snowball to be nice and round too. So we're taking what's left of the chamois. We are going to attach that onto the top part of our tree using some string and just tying a couple knots to hold that in place. And then we'll continue that same process of wrapping that yarn around the top part of our tree, making the head of our snowman. Once the head was done, I went back to the bottom, untied the knot, and just used some hot glue to nice and tidy up the bottom, adding some more of the yarn to clean it up. And then we have what looks like a snowman coming to life. We're going to give him a hat. This hat is from Hobby Lobby. It's only $2.27. Look in the miniatures, like the little houses that you can make and the little baby dolls that you can make, and you'll find these little hats. We're going to add some hot glue to that and then attach it onto the top of the snowman's head. Then, of course, we need to give him a face, and the original had a button for the nose, but I just wasn't liking that. So I grabbed out an orange pipe cleaner and made him a carrot nose instead. That's the great thing about DIYing. You can adjust these to look the way that you want them, not necessarily 100% like the original. So once the buttons are added, the face is added, just use a little bit of fabric to make a scarf, cut it down to size, and then cut little slits in the end of the scarf to make it look more like an actual scarf. And then I also had some greenery left over from some Dollar Tree, a little package in their floral section, and decorated up the hat a little more. The original was $59, but to DIY it, this one only cost $9. He's the perfect little addition to our bedroom Christmas tree. Loving it so much and love the savings too. These gorgeous cone trees were anywhere from $99 to $189, but we're going to go with the $99 one here because it's a smaller sized one, and we're going to make our own using a Dollar Tree styrofoam cone and their berries again. It's a little bit hard to hot glue onto the styrofoam, so if you take some ribbon, this is just some velvet ribbon, and cover your cone with that, it'll give us something for our hot glue to stick onto and our berries to stick onto. So just using a little piece at the top of the cone to get that good and covered, and then we'll come in and just wrap it and spiral the ribbon around the rest of the cone until it's covered. So here is our cone all covered, and we can start using it to add our berries too. So it's easy to do this. We're just gonna pop the berries right off the stems themselves, and we are going to then take some scissors or some wire cutters and cut the little ends off of there. We don't want the little circles poking out. We want it to look like it's continuously covered in berries. And then you're gonna take one of the pods of berries and kind of pop them apart so we can get to the stem in the center. That's also gonna give us a nice flat area to add some hot glue to so we can apply it to the cone. We're going to start at the top. I just took a little bunch of berries first and added it to the top, and then lots of hot glue here to then come in and add the berries around the cone. This takes a little bit of time. You definitely want to make sure that your glue is nice and cooled before you move on to the next one. So it's just kind of a building process. I would definitely recommend turning on a Christmas movie or Christmas show and just enjoying the process as you work your way around these cones to completely cover it. Now I just covered about 3/4 of the cone since you're not going to see the back of mine. And then I also want to bring up the original photo again. They had sort of a black base on them, so I grabbed these terracotta pots from Dollar Tree. I had some left over from springtime, and then some of this black matte spray paint, gave them 2 coats of that, and it actually matched up almost perfectly to the original bases that you see in the Pottery Barn photo. So then we're just going to take these 2 pieces here, add some hot glue to the top of our base in our pot, and hot glue it onto the bottom of the cone. So as you can see, the cheapest ones at Pottery Barn are $99 each, but ours came to just $18 for the set of ours using Dollar Tree supplies. Such a great savings, and these look so nice and high-end, a great addition to your home's Christmas decor. This is such a gorgeous nativity that you can get at Pottery Barn for $149, but we're going to make ours with some Dollar Tree items and also a thrift store find. So I grabbed this wood house from Dollar Tree and also a pack of their wood planks. And we're going to make this the manger of this nativity first. So I'm taking a ruler and just a straight edge to cut angles into this sign. We're going to use some 10 snips to then trim off the top of this house so we have just basically the basics of a house shape, and then taking a sanding block also from Dollar Tree to even it all out. Now grab your wood planks and we're going to start cutting those down to size. We need 2 sides and 2 pieces for the roof. And I definitely suggest cutting one at a time to make sure that they are perfectly the right size. So do the sides first and then the roof second, and just using a straight edge and then pushing them down on the side of my table to break those into the right size. You can also use some tin snips for this, or if you have a miter saw, that works too. We're then going to come in with some brown paint and give everything a coat or two of that so it all has the same look. Now it's time to put this manger together. We're going to take some hot glue, add it to the longer side of the wood piece, and then attach it to the side of the house piece. Let that cool and set up before then moving over to the left side and adding the side of the house and the manger to that side. And then you can go ahead and start adding the roof pieces to the top. Once you have the roof pieces in place, I would suggest coming in with some more hot glue and just kind of reinforcing the inside seams of each piece. And here was my awesome thrift store find, a bag for only $3 of all these hand cut out wood nativity pieces. Of course, if you can't find these at the thrift store, head to Hobby Lobby. You can find a set half off for only $4.99, a beautiful wood set. And then I just took these outside, added some primer and then some matte white paint to the pieces. The original at Pottery Barn was $1.49 and the set that I made was only $5.50. So if you're looking for a smaller nativity set, this is a great way to go. Or if you want to use all the wood pieces, you just want to build your manger larger with more wood pieces. Now this next DIY is actually from our house, not Pottery Barn. I saw this dupe on the Navage Patch blog and I'll link them down below. These are $149 nutcrackers and I found some wooden ones at Dollar Tree in the plus section for $3. I also found this middle-sized one for half off $5 at Hobby Lobby, and then I also already had this larger one from Hobby Lobby that I've had for a few years. We're going to take these three and we are going to give them a quick and easy update. And I used some of the similar directions from the Navage Patch blog, and she had taken some shellac, which I had lacquer, so I used that first and sprayed that onto my nutcracker, and before it dried I came in with some gold metallic spray paint and gave it a once over. In hers she used some antique brass spray paint, which I couldn't find, so I just kind of had to use what I had on hand, which is what everyone should always do when they are creating. Use what you have first. And what she had found is that the metallic spray paint kind of starts to separate with the effects of that not dried yet lacquer spray paint or shellac spray paint. So I thought it gave it more of a antique-y metallic look versus like a flat solid gold, which I was really loving. So I was already loving the look of these nutcrackers. I will show you kind of the process of doing all of them here, but I also came in with some antique gold rub and buff, and that kind of aged them a little bit more too and gave them some more texture and antiquing and aging effects. So I did this kind of in that 2 or 3 step process. Like I said, the originals were $149. Mine were only $20 with the spray paint, with the rub and buff, and I will make sure to link all the supplies that I used down in the description box below, along with the Navage Patch blog if you want to see her steps and how her nutcrackers turned out, because they are just gorgeous. I just love the way these turned out. I love that high-end look, but I always like to stay on a budget, and this is a great way to do it, especially when you would have to pay $907 retail for the originals, and ours cost only $63.25, so a huge savings of 93%. Let me know which one of these projects was your favorite down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button if you love to DIY and save money, especially on your Christmas decor. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe if you are new. Thank you if you are already subscribed. And thanks for hanging around and sticking with me through this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a creative day.